Over the past week or two, I have researched the topic of drug trafficking for my advanced composition weekly presentation. Going into the project, I had almost no knowledge on the subject. I was hoping to learn a few things, and the only times I previously heard about drug trafficking was on TV screens and in movies and shows. This kind of media made me picture mobsters in trench coats and huge numbers of gang members selling drugs to elite groups of people in alleyways. I pictured all these things in other countries, nowhere near where I lived. When reading the articles on LA Times, I found new information about the reality of the drug trading business. Some of the drug busts that I read about were on a small scale, like a man by the name of Patrick Stanley, who was found carrying $179, small amounts of meth and cocaine. After I read this article, it occurred to me that the people in this business looked and acted like your average person, which was not at all like I imagined. Others, though, were on a much larger scale. Examples of this includes the Mexican governor being accused by the U.S. of trafficking drugs. I realize now that the drug trade affects small towns as well as whole entire governments and countries. Another article that stood out to me was the one on how 25 students in Riverside County High School were arrested, and 23 of these students were under the age of 17, and they were taken to juvie. This means that 25 of the students might not get to graduate with their peers. Two of these students will have criminal charges on their record forever, which may prohibit them from getting the job they want in the future. As a student, this article was very unsettling to read, and it made me see how real and dangerous drug trafficking can be, even to kids attending high school just like me. There were endless articles about drug busts, drug trading techniques, and anything else you could imagine about the illegal world of drugs. It was as if every part of the world was involved in some way. 300 pounds of meth was recently found in a California home. 327 pounds of cocaine was stopped in the process of smuggling it into the Mexican border, and the list goes on and on. What I learned about next shocked me the most. The sheer intelligence of the people involved in the drug business was overwhelming. They smuggled drugs on the planes using methods I would have never thought of. The chemistry involved in changing the color and liquefying cocaine, and then changing it back to a white solid, is not something that your average person knows how to do. The people who are trafficking drugs are very smart, which makes it increasingly difficult for police to catch them. In addition to being book smart, these people are also really creative. Instead of crossing the border illegally and risking being caught and searched, many traffickers have begun sending individuals over completely legally, with drugs strapped to their legs. Even worse than this is the people that they target to do this task. I learned that traffickers often bribe elderly people and very young children with money. They don't care about the safety of these vulnerable people. The logic is that the border patrollers will be less likely to stop a child or an older person. Overall, I became a lot more knowledgeable on the subject that I decided to research. I learned that the drug world is more present than I had originally thought, and that many people are involved. People that looked and act like me, smuggling drugs on the side, undetected, people who go great lengths to take pounds of drugs across cities and countries. I'm more aware of the business now, and how police force are doing their best to try to stop it in its tracks. And although drug busts happen every day, the drug world is far from disappearing.